감사합니다. 다음 학생인 김지상 학생은 디지털 기기의 의존도와 청소년들의 스마트 기기의 중독에 대한 문제를 바라보며 디지털 기기의 활용으로 대책을 세우는 프로젝트를 진행했습니다. 뜨거운 박수 보내주세요.
According to Mark Bauerland, we are stupid. That's what it said. So in his book, The Dumbest Generation, he raised a concern that people are getting overly reliant on digital devices, such as smartphones. If you go away or go to park or eat something, one thing that the person has is smartphone in their hands. And he said that being overly reliant eventually becomes stupidity. So I thought about a solution that can solve this, and while researching, I was doing something else, and I came back, and I eventually ran upon the Netherlands dealing with drugs. And the way how the Netherlands dealt with drugs is that to the drug addicts, they gave them drugs basically, but each time they gave them less and less amount of it, and eventually leading to not being addicted. And I thought that I can do the same thing with digital devices, which is using ebooks. Ebooks is an electronic book that helps readers in many ways. So it's using an electronic ink that imitates the physical ability of a physical copy of a book. So it's basically not as harmful as computers. And the reason why I chose ebook is because it's linked to my dream, because in the future I want to be a high school teacher, and I want to have students enjoy class, and I want to major math. And the motivation is that I'm an international student where it involves math books that are required. And whenever there's a project that requires math book, I know every one of you did it, that when teachers give you an assignment, you try to do something, but you do something else, such as watching YouTube, going social media, and when teachers come by, you do like a swiping thing, right? And then you pretend that you're doing something else, and I did the same thing. So I thought ebooks can be a better solution for students to be focused during class. And there are benefits that can help both students and teachers, and one thing is that it helps students to catch up. Being an international student is really difficult because you have to handle a lot of things that are different than Korean schools, such as using English as main language. So you often forget or miss a period of a class, but I think ebooks can help because you can know about what portion you're working on. And you can use the point system that I will talk later, but it also have a good motivation, like Sangmin said, because on taxis, they can do points that can motivate taxi drivers to work more. I think so the same thing for this ebooks. And it's also so beneficial for teachers because they can check progress of what students are doing, and they can arrange class periods that can help students. For example, if a student is learning integration, and when they're stuck in that period, teachers can simply check their progress through ebooks, and like start the class with having a review about their homework. And the second benefit is that it's convenient, it's healthy for people's height, and environmental friendly, and enhanced focus. It's convenient because students have to carry a lot of books, and one of my friends carries all of their books, and I don't know why, but it's over 12 kilograms, and he's 62, so like about 20% of his height he's carrying it. And I saw in a newspaper that it's really negative for our children's heights. And it's also environmental friendly because basically you have to cut down a lot of trees to make books. But rather than making books, you can download online text and work it as a textbook, so it will be really helpful for the environment. And I heard that Seoul시 교육청 is adopting ebooks in class because it enhances focus, because unlike this classroom where you stare at it, you can use ebooks to participate in activities. And like I said, I want to bring ebooks during class. And I'm a student in KIS, and it's a school where it already adopted MacBooks as required tools. And I think it's easier to start there because my dream as a student right now is to bring ebooks in schools. And I thought it will be easier because I can talk to my friends about it, and it can be a legacy where I can talk to my lower grade students, and they'll pass on my idea and eventually adopt ebooks in libraries. And it's useful for classes such as US history, language, and even foreign language. And the second step that I can do is to ask the counselor, because our school already has a PDF version of all textbooks, so I can download them to my ebooks so I can be easier to approach to my students. And I can explain my progress and talk to the teachers where they can have a collaboration of ebooks that I'm lending, and they can arrange with the counselors to have a final launch. And like I said, I'll ask my friends to use. And after that, the friends who wanted to use ebooks, I can lend them and adopt point system. And later, the feedback may eventually bring ebooks to school. And I want to point about this point system. And it's the same thing. It's the motivation that drives students to work hard. So at the start of the period, I gave them a material, and when students learn about it, they can learn more and try, challenge. And after that, I can give a short review or a quiz, and they can earn points, eventually moving them to the second period. And I also can collaborate with the school cafeteria where they can buy materials or free lunch. And I'm a person who experienced point system because I'm in a math competition club where you can get points by participating in a math competition such as Purple Comet. And when you participate in those, I can get points. And you have to have 240 points to get a varsity jacket without going to the varsity. Yes. And I mentioned this before, but US history, English literature, and foreign language will benefit from ebooks because literature and English, they all require reading a lot of books, where you will have more benefits with simply downloading it. And US history, you have to look at primary documents where you can get it over and over without looking or researching with difficulties. And I learned Chinese for 3 years, and it's really difficult to read Chinese because Chinese, they have the same word like su, but they have like the 4 different tones. Su, 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 su. So like you have to I really had difficulties talking to the teachers about how the word sounds. So if the ebook has an audible function, you can simply learn without talking to the teachers. And this is the school period if you have an ebook, and they all have the same programs such as reviewing homework, lecture activities, but this is basically the reason how ebooks works. For example, in homeworks, the teachers can check through their progress and work on homework for a lot of time. And notes, the teachers can show their lecture notes, making students learn better, and activities using ebooks. Yes. Already the semester started, but I'll buy an ebook and ask students to try it and then try to lend it. So I think this will work. And in the future generation, we'll be more reliant on digital devices. So why not we start now, not to be over addicted? Thank you.